Alright, here we go. This is just my basic tips because I'm still playing this game as well. I'm only level 6, but this is Dragon Age Inquisition. Basic tips and tricks to get you started and to see what you can do with all of this. First off, you probably need to get acquainted with the save menu. I haven't saved in a while, so I'm saying that. You can save, load, you can make multiple saves. That way, in case you think you don't gonna make a decision that you may not want to yet, or you're at a point where you want to try to something different, go ahead and save over it or save a new save. And so, interface. I'm using a controller. I'm using an Xbox controller for the computer. So that's why you see on the right bottom hand side, how it has Y for YB, X, right button, which is the trigger button. Well, right bumper button, I should say, for my skills. And if I hit left trigger, it will give me another 4, which I have not unlocked yet, because I have not got any skills yet. I guess to get away from these guys so I can actually talk. So let me just get to a place where I can actually talk here. Not be bothered. This is the quest map, also known as general map. It's not exactly like a world map, which I'll get into later, but I am in the hinterlands, which is one of the starting areas. Like I said, I have not gotten very far, but you can fast travel like you can in Skyrim or other Elder Scrolls series, or even other RPG series. It's rather convenient. That way you don't have to keep walking back and forth all the time. And he's still talking. Just kidding. Anyway. So far I got my party at Cassandra, Solus, and Varric. They're the ones you start out with. And they aren't doing too bad. I guess we get into the character record now, or the skill menu in other words, and how do you set everything. Basically, give me 1 second here. There we go. Basically what happens is, this is mine. I named her Pela. She's an elf, Dalish mage, I guess. So she specializes in lightning and fire, which is basically offensive, but I guess I'll go through them real quick for you. Spirit, which is what Solus kind of specializes in at the moment. There is no healing per se, except for alchemy, which is basically potions and all that good stuff. You can refill your potions at camps, which is, I'll get into that as well later. So you can refill your base potions for free, and any potion you want to assign to people for certain items, like say you want to have like a rejuvenation potion instead of just a general healing potion. You can actually assign those to your fellow party mates individually by spending elf fruit or any other items that make the potions, basically. I'm getting ahead of myself, I apologize. Spirit, masters of the school of magic, call upon spirits for protection, as well as the essence of fate itself. The fade in this game is kind of like the Aether in other games, kind of like the fabric of the void. Basically, the fade, it's like string theory for in real life. It's kind of like, what ties everything together and where everything comes from, basically. Their spells disrupt hostile magic, create defensive barriers, and even heal injuries. Which is half true, I guess, that last part. Heal injuries, because down here you can revive. It's a few skills down, but you can revive your fallen allies instead of trying to get them to have little health when you do it manually. So, whatever, this works. And plus you can also give them damage resistance when they get back up for a small portion of time, but it should be enough to get them a potion or some such thing. I chose this to go to the side first because I wanted to get revived, because I figured that would be handy in battles, even though I'm playing on normal. Not much of a challenge, because I've seen people who play on YouTube, who play on Nightmare, and they use a tactical camera, which I'll get into later, very much. It's like what they rely on fully, and it's good, but I like having an action RPG kind of style play. The tactical camera reminds me of other games that have, what do you call it? Tactical overviews, I guess you can say. Overlays. Or overviews is probably a better word than overlays. And so, basically, this spirit tree focuses on protection, mana, spam, regeneration, and just basic defensive magic. Best they could have just called it defensive magic and been done with it. But yeah. Storm. We'll go back to my girl, I should say. Storm mastered his school magic, called forth the power of thunder and lightning, like Thor. Or the girl Thor, whichever Thora, I guess their name is now. Their spells paralyze foes and arc from one enemy to another. Basically, as you can tell, this is a very offensive tree, mainly focusing on lightning and stunning people, paralyzing even, as it says here. And it even gets better when you paralyze from a distance, or paralyze for however many enemies are close to, I should say, as it says. That's damage bonus, go me. But I've gotten somewhere in this tree, but I'm splitting up between this tree and the Inferno or Fire tree. Masters of the School of Magic dominate the battlefield with unrelenting fire. Enemies who survive the initial blast are driven mad with terror or burned to death in unquenchable flames. Self-explanatory. Another offensive tree. This one relies on fear and burning. It smells like burning. Wall of Fire. Basically, kind of. I'm not a fan of fear, but in this game, it's all about crowd control for mages. They're not exactly the most offensive people. That seem to be more warriors in this game. Mages seem to be like a support crowd control role, as in MMOs, as in other MMOs do. That's what I've gotten so far. There is no mana. It's all regeneration, as you saw in the barrier tree, very briefly probably. I'll go back to it real quick and I'll show you what I mean. Mana regeneration, which means just time. There's no mana per se. There's no mana bar. There's health bar, which of course if you go to 0 you die. And also, basically, it's just time. Like your skills recharge is a better way of putting it. They just recharge over time. Long story short, no mana. No canon mana, I should say. And for the winter tree, which is like cold, ice, freezing, breakable things, masters of the school of magic's summon cold that bites deeper than the cruelest winter. Their icy spells slow and weaken enemies. So far, what I've seen is basically goes along with kind of like almost like another defensive slash blatant crowd control. It's more defensive again, so I think that's why they gave it to Solus again, or they started him out with it. Because kind of it's like this doesn't work out too well. Cassandra, she's a sword and board, or a sword and shield warrior, and she also starts out not only weapon and shield, but she starts out with I think the Vanguard. I think Vanguard. But we're going to. I think we'll. Because I'm a fan of mages, and I'm not too familiar with the sword and board, two-handed, blah 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 stuff. So I think we'll go more in depth and kind of take our time with this one. Actually, weapon and shield, kind of like your tanky role. Like they draw the ire of the enemy, and make sure that your mages and some rogues do not get hurt. Although I have not had anybody but Varric yet, because like I said, I'm only level 6. Knock on wood. So we'll see how that goes. Two-handed. I've seen people play two-handed. It seems to be pretty tanky. Basically focuses on drawing attention. Like I said, this game is very crowd control heavy. It seems like. And this is more offensive. So still kind of like drawing the ire of the enemy away from your support people and everything. I didn't read it. I'm sorry. 2-1 weapon, experts in the style, crush your enemies with massive blows that can break any guard, shatter any armor, and destroy any opponent. Unless you don't have support. Battlemaster. These cunning warriors control the battlefield and everyone on it. They bolster their allies, hamper their enemies, and take advantage of any sign of weakness. Not sure exactly what this does, but they have the hook and looks like they have like a hook shot. This looks like more like off-tank. What do you call it? Utility, I guess I should say. Not off-tank, but utility. Kind of like a role where they modify the battlefield to fit their needs and their party's needs and give them an advantage on the battlefield here. Basically, that's what other MMOs have called utility, I think. If I'm not mistaken, I could be. Let me know. Vanguard. These stalwart warriors protect their allies by making themselves the biggest target on the battlefield. When enemies take the bait, vanguards pick them apart. Brutal precision. Well, we'll see about that, I guess. But these give guard. Oh, that's another thing. Since there is no healing, per se, besides potions, you can protect yourselves in one of two ways. Barrier, which are given from the spirit tree and man for mages, or for guard, which is mainly for warriors, either one, sword and board or two-handed. But guard kind of gives like extra armor. Barrier gives a barrier that depletes over time. I'm sure guard kind of wears off after battle as well, but after battle, and if it's not already broken. But barrier kind of has a time limit, and kind of if it's hit, it decreases even faster. So just kind of like delaying the inevitable strike of enemies, I guess. But guard, you always want to have your sword and board guy have their guard up, like if at all costs, basically. Now let's look at Varric. Double daggers. Expert in the style are fast and deadly. Their blades slice into enemies' defenses and throws before they have time to react. You can probably guess. Probably like a little bit more like a shadow kind of rogue. Kind of like an assassin kind of thing. Dual wielding, as you can probably guess by the name Double Daggers. Archery. Experts in the style, masters of ranged combat. They can avoid enemies that attempt to close, but arrows bolts to multiple foes, and even unleash explosive shots to devastating effect. Again, self-explanatory, but this one, there's something to be said for this archery tree. It more relies on positioning your archers, which is awesome for an RPG. Because most RPGs focus on either damaging or slowing down and hindering your foes with arrows, but this one actually, like, where is it? Like, a death from above, like, if you're on a higher elevation, do more damage, which is an interesting mechanic. This one right here, each consecutive hit with a bow attack does progressively more damage to the target. Not sure if it's timed or not, even though it says bonus duration. It doesn't specifically say, hey, you got 10 seconds or whatever to fill them with 10 arrows, because I'm sure Varric doesn't shoot that much in that short of time, but we'll see about other rogues, I guess. But just interesting mechanics for an archer, I think. It's really neat. Not like this. At full, six, like someone else said, 16 times the damage at full health. 8 times per situation. This is more for the number crunchers and min maxers, I think, but it's still pretty fun to even look at. Sabotage. Expert in these talents specialize in poisons and traps. Their dirty tricks leave enemies sick and limping. Easy pickings for a sharp blade or a barbed arrow. Basically, it's probably like your saboteur, of course, as you can tell by the name of the tree, which basically are like burglars and other Lotro specifically, which are kind of utility, kind of debuff characters. I'm not too interested in this because it's basically all status effects, it looks like. And I don't think Varric's agile enough to make this happen in a wider sense, I think. He'd probably be more suited to subterfuge, which is experts in these talents, masters of misdirection, whether leaping to safety, disappearing into the shadows, or tricking enemies and slashing in empty air. They're never where anyone expects them to be. Why I think Varric would be better at this is because you can teleport, basically. Where is it? Here? You step into the shadows, but all but invisible to your enemies. And with his low agility, he's a dwarf. I'm sure most dwarves do not get high agility most of the time. If you can sneak Varric, or if you can control Varric, is a more apt way to put it. You can actually do more damage, like it says. So, basically, this is tree more for what Varric could be. Not sure why they gave him sabotage. Maybe just for the caltrops for the big demon in the beginning fight. Spoilers. Or it just says spoilers in the fight. But if you're this far where I am, you know about it. But again, these are just basic tips. I'm sure you find other surprises that I have not even encountered yet in your travels. So, but if you played other Dragon Age games, this is a little bit of a surprise, I guess, because it's bigger. It's kind of like a proto Witcher 3 Skyrim kind of thing. Because if you look at the map, which is what we'll get into next, the quest map. Like in Dragon Age Origins, I remember playing. They had a world map and small areas, even though sometimes the areas would be bigger than they thought. I am level 6 and still in this first area. I have traveled basically from Outskirts Camp, I believe, or was it this camp? Not sure which camp it was. It was one of these two. It was probably the Dusklight camp because we had to go down the hill into the basically crossroads part. And basically, I've only gotten to get some quests over here that are important for the general overview for the war table, which I'll go into detail later. But each one of these markers represents either quests I've not done or a point of interest, a POI, a point of interest. Like over here is a cave of some sort. As you can, yeah, it even says cave. Go me! But like, here's a town you can go to that has a quest in it already. I've not been there, as you can tell. And then Ocularises and stuff, Oculariums, whatever, which are basically like puzzles. I'm sure if you like puzzles, you have a ball with those mini games. I, on the other hand, just kind of look it up online. Honestly, I guess. Yeah, I know, not too fun, but it's fun for me because it's relaxing. And basically, just enemy camps scattered about, and other points of interest that usually have enemies, and more world map waypoints. Like I said, you can fast travel, and oh, good, we can go to world map from here. Here is the world map. Well, part of it. Part we can see, part that's centered on. Here's where you basically start out after the intro. And apparently, I hear you get another keep or another castle that you can use as your base of operations where the game really picks up. But this is only a fraction of what the actual map has, I would guess, because when you go to Haven, actually before I do that, I'm going to do that last for good reason. Now, as you saw, these camps, like Dwarfson's Pass camp, which is to the southeast, to the crossroads, literally southeast, if you want to be more specific. It's barely east. You can refill potions, which is always good, because you always need to be on your guard, and let's see if I can do it real quick. I guess it is over here, huh? You can change your party. I guess it's up here then. Yeah, equip potions. That's what you can do. You can basically a potion assignment and replenishment. You can equip or replenish potions for each party member. Healing potions at the top of the rating menu are replenished for free automatically, but all other potions require herbs for replenishing. Like I said, I unlocked this potion. Like I said, a regen potion. But I have not unlocked that from the alchemist. So these, you can come here, fast travel, equip potions for free. That way you have all of them. Requisitions are basically like subquests. I still need 5 for all unlocks, which I guess are not forthcoming too often, like a rare drop or an uncommon drop, I guess. But they're like mini quests that help out the Inquisition in different parts of the area. And how you get these little camps is there are spots. I don't know if they're even tent spots, but you'll see them as little. Happens as flag kind of spots when you go up to them. Like this was where I think this flag spot was, and it'll say, "Do you want to mark this spot?" And you hit whatever a interface key, whatever, or button, and it'll make a camp for you for the Inquisition. And this way you can rest in case you're not feeling well. But I think you rest automatically when you fast travel, I believe, because I am full health. But that way you can just run back here, rest, do other good stuff. Like I said, this is a computer version, but with the Xbox controller, so the controls may be a little bit different. I am definitely a resource hoarder, so I collect everything, which is usually a good idea. In other games, let's see if we can go to the inventory now. There are different things. The normal RPG elements, weapon, armor, accessories, and upgrades, which are basically like schematics or upgrades for your weapons, kind of like gems or grips in this case. Go me! Basically, they help your weapons out or give it special, like upgrade slots. Let's see if we can get one here. There's an upgrade slot on almost all non-starter weapons, I think, if I remember correctly. And we can just examine what we got. And this is better. As you can see, it has the empty grips, empty sap blade, empty rune on the left. I actually have both. I'm going to equip that. Only because it's a better weapon. Go figure, right? Then for upgrades, I'm just upgrading, see if I can upgrade anything right now. +2 magic. I'm the offensive one. I do believe magic is my forte, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, tactics. Yeah, this is fun. I didn't go into this because this is more like most RPGs are very much a point and click, kind of like figure it out as you go kind of thing. Most RPGs nowadays don't have manuals. They have strategy guides, or they have groups, forums, etc. But I'll just try to do as much as I can because I don't want to be too long-winded, but not too much. Enabled. Enabled abilities used when appropriate. Disabled, never used, and preferred used as much as possible. Chain lightning is going to be that one because chain lightning recharges fast in my case. Don't know what the regular is, but it's a good opener, I think. This is a good example. Then it kind of gives you details on everything. Magic. The character's connection to the Fade and ability to manipulate it. Each point increases attack, mages only, and barrier damage bonus. So what would willpower be then? Character strength of mind, personality. Each point. Oh, it increases attack, all classes, magic defense. So I do want magic. Because Solus would be the one we want to focus on willpower with, I guess. Basically. Wonder how we do this. Let's figure it out together. You know what? I bet I know. I bet you have to do it at the... I bet you have to do it at a bench. I bet you, like, anything that you have to do it at a bench back at the Haven in this case. That's fun. Let's go back to inventory and I'll show you the crafting materials. Basically, some of this iron 58. Gee, I haven't been doing a lot, have I? But anyway, these are just like we can make the armor. They teach you how to make the armor if you run around in Haven a little bit. Go to the blacksmith, talk to him, say, "Hey, I want to make some armor." He says, "Sure. What do you want to make?" And he kind of gives you some schematics. It's kind of cool. Weapon schematics, I only have a few. Like I got Bianca arms, which are nice. And looks, do I have it? Do I have it? I don't know. We'll find out. There's one more thing I want to show you. What valuables? Some valuables are for, like, if you want to do romancing of the Three Kingdoms kind of thing with your co-patriots. Now online, if you search it, there's a whole list and who's who of who you can romance and you cannot, depending on who you chose for your main character. So some are open, some are not, some are obvious, some are not. Just you have to mix and match, or you can just, like I said, go to a website for it. Now for these Vamp Horns and Shadow Essences, as it says, bring it to a creature research specialist, which is in Haven. They're in the chapel where near the war table, but not in that room. But they're with where Josephine is. They're like standing around doing nothing. They're like, "Yeah, I'm a researcher," and you bring this kind of stuff to them, and they give you experience, and not really experience, but they kind of like a Star Ocean, Last Hope, at least, if not after. Like you get the more times you fight a monster, the more experience you gain from it, or more things you know about it, kind of thing. Not sure how it ranks up unless it's just for the codex, which is this thing. Like I said, creatures. There are 67 types of creatures. Woot. Not really too writing home to mom about too much. I haven't gotten that far, I guess, to find mythical creatures too much, except for maybe rams. That's so mythical. I mean, I don't know what to say. Rage demons. There you go. Basically, it's like a nice little fun if you like into the lore. Like I'm getting into the lore just because of my actual time that I've actually sat down to play a Dragon Age game. Dragon Age 2, I tried a little bit, but didn't get too far in. Dragon Age Origins, I got past the intro into the first part where you have to go and like clear out some like basic recruit and use spoilers, so I won't go there. I'm bad at that. Journal will be very. I'm glad they did the whole expand collapse thing, because this will get pretty full. As you can see, I am in the hinterlands, and I have not been to the Storm Coast. I have not been to the Forbidden Oasis. I have not been to the Fallenmire, but I have been to Haven. But there's not much to do in Haven. There's like a couple things, like where you just wander around and get quests. But the main quest line is Inquisitor's Path, where they want me to go to Val Royale, whatever, however you say it. I'm not too up on the lingo with the pronunciations. But the hinterlands, I still have quite a bit to do here. This is only the first area. So, yeah, about that. Like I said, requisitions again. Collections. Collections are fun. Basically, this is what you collect around, as you can probably guess. I have 8 regions left to discover in Hinterlands, probably because it's level based. And I'll show you where I don't go at the moment, or have not gone. There is a Fade Rift, which is kind of like a tear in the fabric of time and space right here. That is very hard for me, even when I played this on the PlayStation. I didn't get as far as I did here, but point is, it's a pretty hard Fade Rift to get. Or to close, I should say. I didn't have a problem with the Rage Demons down here. Yeah, this war map exit. Not to say that they aren't that bad, but this is a lot to do in this game. And getting back to it. Why? It's just staring me in the face, isn't it? Okay, real quick, we're going to go back to basics, or back to Haven, I guess. So, let's see if we can do that from here. Basic, like I said. How about a Haven? I guess. So basically, that's long and short of what happens. Like I said, I've only scratched the surface of this game. I'm sure, like I said, it's proto of the open worlds. And just beginning where in open world is beginning to be a thing like with Oblivion, Elder Scrolls Oblivion, this game, Sacred 2, etc. Just huge worlds to explore and do things, and not really follow the main quest line if you don't want to. Just be mindful of your surroundings. If you're not familiar with RPGs, read everything you can, especially about controls and how to fight. I'm sure if you don't use a tactical camera, which I don't, so I can't really give a tutorial on that. If you don't use the tactical camera, pause camera during battle to time your moves. Just be aware of your surroundings at all times with either the mouse, like dragging the mouse to look around you when you're fighting. That way nobody can flank you. In other words, nobody can get behind you, to the side of you, and catch you by surprise. which would be a bad thing. Trust me, it would not be good. Because then if you get flanked, you're at a disadvantage, and you usually don't end up in the right place. You usually end up 6 feet underground. You have to start over by the last warp point, I guess you can call, wherever you travel to last. Kind of like if you ran to a camp, or if you traveled to a camp, you'd wind up at that camp after you died if you hit continue at the game over screen. Stuff like that. Did my game freeze? Oh, seriously. Basically, just read what you can. Don't don't rush into things. Like if you see two enemies, don't rush into them thinking they're the only two, because this game, although it's not the brightest AI in normal, it's still pretty. It can still summon some people that can hurt. Like the fades, especially the fade rifts. They're usually two waves at this point. Like you see the first wave when you approach it. You go the first wave, it sends the second wave, which is usually a little bit more monsters at you. So just be aware of what goes on, and just like I said, you can disrupt fade drifts, and these things are kind of cool. Like read these, even though if it's a short load. That's basically what we found in prologue. Yeah. But yeah, just these are just lore tidbits, or sometimes they're gameplay hints like this one. But they're still fun to read if you got the time, or if you got a long load ahead of you. If you think they're just fun. Another thing to watch out for, I would say, is I said don't be gung ho, right? Yeah, don't be gung ho. Even if you do use a tactical camera and you can see around things, just don't do it. If it seems like a bad idea, it usually is, kind of thing. Talk to everybody you can. Harvest everything you see. If you run out of space in the inventory, sell what you think you don't need at the time, or if you think you might need it later, or if it's an upgrade, or if it's a blue or a rare weapon, not just a magic. There's like 3 tiers, I think, of magic weapons if I've read some of these loading screens correctly. Just keep it for later, or just sell like the white stuff, like the common stuff, basically, like stuff that's not better than what you already have. So before you go sell it, make sure you can't use it already. That's another basic tidbit of RPGs. Save often, save early. Don't rush into things. If you see like a couple enemies that you had problems with in the past, run a fair distance away from them, but to safety. Save and then try it. And if it doesn't turn out the way you want, you can just load that save and try again. Or you can run away for now and just try to fight lesser enemies to gain experience. Experience is a big thing in this. I'll show you what I mean by the whole armor thing and crafting your own weapons and all that good stuff. I think I just passed it, didn't I? Oh, I'm right here already. Oh, good. Okay, Cassandra, keep hitting that dummy. So this is what I'm talking about, where he gives you like, and where you can like kind of like upgrade your armor or make armor. See, it says modify and modify weapons. See, crafting and modify. My bad. So I want to modify my weapon. I want to modify this one. I want to modify the grip. And how much does it cost? Does it cost is the question. Yep, it does not. Sweet. Now can I upgrade this? What's this willpower do? My short-term memory strikes again. What does willpower do? For warriors especially. Is it even worth it for warriors? That'd be good. Because there are a lot of mages in the hinterlands, not just Templars. So that would be good. Oops. What on earth? Where is my freaking... I just had it, didn't I? Oh, switch characters, right. Go me! There we go, Swedish fingers. Sorry, do we have any runes? No rune upgrades available. Awesome. What about you, Varric? Can we craft your Bianca stuff? Oops, that's crafting armor. Don't craft armor, I want to craft the weapons. I'll let you know. I'm trying to just show these people how to do stuff. So let me see if I can upgrade Bianca's weapon and kind of do it that way. And I know there's different types of ore. There's Drakestone I found, there's iron, and there's different tiers. And it tells you what each does. There are 5 different types of crafting slots. Utility, offense, defense, damage, and armor. The type of slot determines the stat will be generated from the material placed in it. For example, placing iron in the defense slot gives a bonus to melee defense, while putting it in the utility slot gives a bonus to strength. Experiment with different combinations of materials and slots to create unique items that fit your needs. Thank you, game. So it must be the utility slot. That's the damage slot. Okay. Damn it. So is that the offensive slot? Armor penetration is always nice. That's sweet. I think we'll go with the armor penetration. Oh gosh dang it! What's damage in? Huh? What? I'm so confused. It's okay. We're confused together. I'm just gonna go with Summerst. What? Well, we're gonna err on the side of offense Drakestone here, because I want armor penetration. That's cool, it even tells you. Critical chance would be nice, but we have to kill more Phoenix. And that's one thing I don't want to do, I guess. We can kill more bears. They're just hard to find. I'll just do this later. So make sure I didn't lose my Drakestone. I shall. I don't need anything now, though. That's basically what it in a nutshell. And like I said, you want to go through your loot boxes, literally. Now, if you have any Phoenix fur, I'd be much obliged. Or even bear fur. But I'm thinking we're getting off topic. The war table. That's the last thing I'm going to show you because this is the most easiest to learn. The war table is kind of like the map of everything, where you send your agents to do work for you, like just collect gold to check on petitions from different non-playable characters or just story elements, or just to make sure to get items basically in return or influence. Right? Anyway, basically the war table is where everything happens, where you make things happen, etc. Everything loads smoothly usually, it's just the war table that doesn't. Because the war table is kind of like I'll show you where that person is. It's not here. I don't believe. Yeah, it is here. Yep. And then you just talk to this person here.
Hello? Can I help you with something?
Investigate. Oh, well, I guess this is not why I do it. Yep, turn in. Yep, turn in. Turn in research.
I'll speak with you later.
There you go. That's cool. You get damage bonus against demons, beasts, shade. That's cool. And you want to speak with me? Yeah, not now.
Did you need something, Ambassador? Yes. Not precisely, but I should like to know if anyone here has treated you unkindly yet. If they have, they've been stealthy. Please let me know if that changes. We're to convince the world that Andraste's herald is an end. The Inquisition must be given its utmost support. Stories of violent British elves have grown even more outrageous as we have done. Isn't the magic just as much a problem as my age? Depends which way the wind is blowing. Magic is meant to serve man, the chant teaches. Close the breach, and we can claim that is why Andraste chose you. Hopefully it will be enough to replace this gossip about the Dalish. Why not claim the Dalish can steal your breath or turn into dragons while they're at it? Now that I've said that out loud, someone probably has. Very likely. I will see what the Inquisition can do to contain the slander. It may help if I know more about how you and your clan lived. The best part was when the Aravel, our wagons, turned from the plains to the woods. I used to spend weeks exploring the forest. You make it sound idyllic. Haven is so far away from home. You must miss the people of your clan. If I'd stayed, I'd be traveling with the clan for the rest of my days. I wanted my own life. If I've learned one thing, it's that our lives are never entirely our own. Whether you're with them or not, being the clan of the Herald of Andraste will mark them in history. Elves and fame tend to go poorly together. I hope my clan doesn't suffer for it. We can make inquiries as to how they fare if it worries you. Perhaps the Inquisition could lend a hand.
Sorry about that. Didn't know it would be turned into a whole dialogue box and question and stuff. So let me show you the war table real quick, and then we'll end this almost hour-long basic tips guide that kind of turned into something more. Toby just gathers around the war table and we go to work. So there's Orlais and Ferelden and Inquisition perks, which again would just have to go shoot. Oh shoot, we'll just do that later. Ferelden.
Nothing to do with ferrets. We simply can't accommodate them if they bring that many servants.
I will speak to the Duchess. She can be reasoned with, Councillor Thatching.
So these gather coins and contact the dealer, or contact the clan kind of things are all along the lines of mini quests that you can send your agents to, which I'll kind of tell in a bit. Like this one takes an hour usually. You can choose who you want to send on. Like Liliana is kind of like the stealth spy master. Cullen is kind of like the army guy. Ah, it's gotten why? Why is it? Hmm. Interesting. And then Josephine, of course, is the kind of diplomat kind of person. I kind of save those for later, but I usually send just Liliana because it's the easiest one to do. Then these, you can open up new areas, but it costs power, as you can see in the bottom right, 29 I have, so it costs 8 of that. Just to, I'm not going to do it, but let's see what happens. And then you just, if you can choose who you want to send to that, to do that, but it unlocks the area. Like this, once you, even though it's kind of, obviously we've already completed it with the scouts, but it doesn't let you choose, obviously, because you have no perks then either, so. Centerlands is the first part. I'm trying to complete it before going on. But then again, there's also Orlai. I don't know how everyone pronounce it. Is there a quest over here? No. Okay. Just whatever that green stuff is, usually the Fade, and that's kind of marks the main quest, I think, because that's what the whole thing's about. It's about how you can deal with the oncoming Fade disaster and what's already happened. Well, I thank you for watching. If I've been too long-winded, not long-winded enough, too distracting, let me know. And I guess I'll just talk to you guys later. All right, take care.